If you don't need it, don't bring it, because we got to fit it in my Scion, but at the same time, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we have to be prepared. So, like, bringing extra bass strings, but not an extra bass. Though I'm going to bring 2 guitars just in case, because changing a string on a Rickenbacker that's just not going to happen there. That sounds like a McDonald's commercial, and if it's not, it should be. Call them. Accentuated. I like your playing. Put it through your own filter. And don't try to replicate me, because I'm not much of a drummer. And don't try to replicate Chris, because he was a very different style than you. I like when you hear the tune and then you kind of remember, oh, here's how I think it goes. I like what your spin is on that.
Hello, it's nice to be here. I've been pacing backstage. That's actually a lie, there is no backstage. But I made up these songs.
Did the music mix at least sound okay?
Yeah.
Right. I was just getting this alien PA to work.
That's a CD.
This is the 4th member of the group.
That's right.
But it just stands here.
Yeah,
This dog.
I'd be totally down for that.
Glad we didn't bring Tigger.
Yeah, my allergies are not. But it's not my place. I can't sing either.
Rude.
It's definitely driving me nuts right now.
I
I have a napkin.
Alright, turn the music. Stay right there for a second.
Because now they're practicing the wedding.
Oh yeah.
We're going to run through a couple things if it's okay with you guys. I can't see hand gestures. It's dark. Okay, cool. I didn't want to interrupt what you guys had going on. Are you with me? It's so good to be here.
Okay, I think I'm pretty used to this now. What do you guys think? Livable?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Alright. What are you taking home with you tonight?
Nothing.
Okay. I am just taking the guitars.
But tonight, we are here to rock Paisley, Florida. This is the first time we have ever played in at a wedding, and the first time that we ever played in this temperature. So this is all new to us. This is also one of the few times I've ever performed while being told not to swear. This song is about my second earliest memory. The first one, of course, being arriving here today to load in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cheers, thank you.
We're not doing any requests. We do all originals, no requests.
Well, that wasn't all original.
There's a musical joke in there, guys.
How about throw in, you guys do a break?
World,
No, we're not going to be doing any requests. Sorry.
Oh, no, no break.
So the good news is that we received the Frankenstein's Bastard Daughter 7-inch. The bad news is that they pressed it at 33 RPM and not 45 RPM. It just means that the fidelity isn't quite where I wanted it to be, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's still playable, and Catherine didn't specify in the artwork what speed to play it at, so we're kind of in the clear. Yeah, they offered that they could recut it, but I was like, the project's like 2 months behind where I want it to be anyways, so no, so they just offered me a discount on the next pressings, which alternately is like, yeah, that's, you know, who doesn't like free stuff, but at the same time, it's a discount from the plant that screwed up your pressing.
I try to do it this way, so no venue ever has to be worried about like, I know what's yours, I know what's mine. The only thing I grabbed of yours, besides this, is my thing. I went hog wild, decided I'll save myself a trip to the car and borrow theirs for the night.
Well, yeah, they're still packing it in over there. Like, all the guys from Mr. Fizz.
I assume you probably didn't want to do
Oh, not that bad. Like New Wave.
And did I mention that I'm happy to be here? Cause I'm totally not pandering. And we're gonna get this started, but there's some honesty. They said artist needs a patron, and unicorns get more bacon, but they cheer the loudest for what I like least. Guy Fieri has like 10 cooking shows, and people make fun of his shirts, but that's okay. He can't complain, cause he's totally pwning the cooking show game. Why is that even a thing? My music's experimental, my religion is fucking metal, and all my drug use is accidental. Getting old, and some of my hair is falling out. Shit! But I'm not saying that I'm perfect, I got lots of room to grow. I don't need to sound holier than thou. Once I spent an unexpected night inside a jail. Oh, it's freezing in Florida, the heater is broken. I sang the wrong lyrics to the second verse. Shit. Happens to the best of us. That damn fisting got me. And I'll get you too. You took on the megalodon just to save my wicked soul. Here we go. Squiddy, 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 rock and roll.
There you go. And I didn't smear it. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming.
That song, actually,
Hey, you're giving Pop another chance.
I'm giving it to somebody else. I have it.
Oh, okay. So you just want it like just generic.
Generic. Yeah.
I don't like placing an emphasis on me as an individual. I like being a good, much like Audrey, a good host.
I think that's a real shame, man. I think the more emphasis you can put on yourself as the face of Nerdy Show is the key to success, man. You're the most interesting part of the network. I think even more interesting than the content. I mean, the things you are speaking of. Well, I think you're more interesting.
I like doing it, through the discussions, but not the day-to-day minutia and so on. Trying to scrounge for something interesting to say about what I've done recently. Hi, I'm Cap.
Hi, I'm Mark with a C.
And in this episode, well, we hope to have some fun, but Mark and I are brought together for a very solemn reason: the passing of David Bowie.
It's true. It's sort of a reunion of the gang that brought you, what was it, a 4-hour exploration into David Bowie's singular album, Outside.
I think it was maybe 8 hours, an 8-hour exploration of that one record.
We came out of that recording session different people.
Yeah, with 8 men with metal parts, really.
I was wearing the Minotaur head.
We're really getting ahead of ourselves. We're diving off the deep end immediately.
Oh, of course, yeah. I covered her song Brand New Key on one of my records.
Man, that's awesome. I actually don't... Man, yes, okay.
Yes, I'm very familiar with Melanie Safka.
She's great. She recorded, probably the last record she released to date was a live record recorded at that Borders while I was there by accident as a kid.
Wacky!
Yeah. So that's wacky border story about that Borders, where I bought Space Oddity and my dad was like, oh, you sure you want to buy this? This guy's pretty weird.
It's sort of like when the kid brings home the blacklight, you know that child is no longer your own. They hang the Sublime poster and you're like, crap, it's done, man. Hopefully I gave enough positive influence in their life because they're on their own for now.
Yeah, my dad was known for being oversensitive. I couldn't watch Full House because he didn't want me to have that kind of sass the Tanner kids had.
You're making that up. There's no way that's true.
I am not. I wish I was.
Oh, wow.
I only watched Simpsons when he wasn't around because that was forbidden material. A bit more understandable than Full House, but when all those kids and all the commercials are talking back to their parents, he was like, I ain't having that. Nope, not influencing my kids. So Full House was fucking taboo.
My mind is continuously blown in this episode as we learn about the origins of Cap.
I did watch it though when he wasn't watching.
When you finally watched some episodes of Full House, were you like, seriously, Dad, you need to fucking lighten up?
No, I don't think I ever had a frank conversation with
Did you maybe sneak in a, you got it, dude, and then just, knowing he wouldn't get it?
Good job. I'm still a little out of tune, so I'm glad we did that. I think this cold car at a warm house is really wreaking havoc on the hollow body, you know? Like that A was flat when I tuned it, and now it's sharp.
And they say that's the most important. Don't subscribe to that theory, but hey, let's try one. I'm out of ideas, but I think you get the point. Thank you for your time, I hope you've enjoyed it. All these things are racing, the unicorns get more racing, but they cheer the valley forward. Make you better. You don't deserve this strain.
rusty, but I think good foundation. I think
You rusty butt.
Fuck you, Emmett.
I had to wait till you took the drink.
Can you get to any of the other patches where they're trying to emulate classic tones?
Horror Fuzz was another Ellison that sounded terrible.
It seems like something you'd use for one specific part of a song and then never touch again.
Yeah.
But I do want to hear their Cure tone.
Cureem, this is probably it.
It's a little fakey fake, but their heart's in the right place.
It's a lot of the gain effects. The thing I don't like about them is they sound digital. They don't sound analog. So it's fake. A lot of the modulation is fine, but these kind of gain effects are just not a big deal. Not a big fan. After a while, every patch starts sounding the same.
I woke up and I've either scratched my left eye or there's something in it that I cannot get out, and I am either going to have to go to the doctor or I don't know. But either way, I can't drive right now. Is there any way we can do this through Skype? Like, obviously I want to go down there, but I just spent like a half hour in the shower trying to wash it out, and I would not arrive in one piece. I can be. It's going to be a few minutes because I got to set up a microphone, and it's going to be hard to track all that down with one eye. I'll do my best to be upbeat, Mark. Just if I sound like I'm somewhere else, that's why I was not expecting today to go this way.
I totally get that, man. Well, this is quick then.
Yeah. Okay, go for it. Go nuts. I'm in Mark with a C mode. Let's rock.
The Unicorns Get More Bacon, great song. Man, I really love the sound you got dialed in on this album. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with your Unicorns Get More Bacon album.
Wow, I don't even know where to begin. To talk about the sound, it's I think it's the logical progression from my last couple of records, but there was one major difference, and that's when it came time to master the album. We had I had brought in Kramer, who is he's famous in indie rock circles. He's of course the man that discovered the band Low. He produced or mastered early recordings by Ween and Daniel Johnston. He was in the band Shockabilly for a period of time. He was in the Butthole Surfers. He was in Bongwater. He's just a real hero of mine, and to find out that I was able to work with him was the biggest deal. And he really he took an album that was pretty good, and sound-wise, he just kicked it up a few flights of stairs. So, if you're talking about sound quality, you gotta thank Kramer. It's more his record than mine.
It really, from that perspective, when I hear the new album, man, just from the sound quality, the production, I guess you would say, it's really dialed in. That was the first thing I said to myself aloud when I was about 3 tracks in. I'm like, wow, this sound for Mark is dialed in. This is like the perfect Mark with a C sound.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was trying to emulate the sound that my band gets live when I play with my backing group of Jim Myers and Emmett Dobbin, and unfortunately, due to scheduling commitments, the band was not able to appear on the record, so I had to play like this really dumbed-down version of what Jim might do on the drums, or this really dumbed-down version of what Emmett might do. So the good news is I can tell you that if you dig how it sounds on the record, you're going to really dig it live, because those parts were all written just for Emmett and Jim to improve on.
Unicorns Get More Bacon. You're right off the bat. You're giving that fan base something they like, and at the same time saying, "Hey, stop asking for all this stuff." I like it. It's kind of a cool message. Good song.
You know, I wrote that song in about 15 minutes at my kitchen table because I didn't feel like the album, in the original guise, which was, I was intending to make a very different record than what you hear. I just didn't feel like it had the strongest opener, so every couple of records I write a tune that I know is going to pretty much open shows for a while. In my history, there's been songs like I'm in Love with Everyone I Know, where you can pretty much only put it towards the beginning of the show. Or what's it called? We're All Gonna Die. That was supposed to be an opener. And I didn't have one. I didn't have a new one, and I went, well, I need a new song that really sets up my mission statement, which is, you know, I create art and you cheer. This is how it works.
That's it.
So that was it. That was the basic idea.
It was so simple. Like that's a lot of times in your discography. A lot of times, some of your songs that really kind of nail the head are some of those type songs. And I like the fact that it is an opener. In fact, when the literally first time I listened to that track, my first thought was, other than Paul and Storm's opening band, this might be the best opening song I've ever heard.
Oh my God! I hate to go all Nicolas Cage on you, but that's high praise. Thank you.
Yeah, you're familiar with. I mean, you know Paul and Storm. That's.
As the general manager of Nerdy FM, I think I'd be fired on the spot if I weren't. I wasn't wearing my heart on my sleeve every 20 seconds on Twitter, so now, you know, what could have been a series of tweets turned into a song called Ethics in Gaming.
Ah, I see. So you basically collected your thoughts and channeled them into the art.
Yeah, just like we used to.
Ha! What a throwback from retro lo-fi Mark with a C. Who would have thought? Great concept. Everything works, man. Like I said, if you're listening right now and you haven't obtained your copy of Unicorns Get More Bacon, go get it right now. Mark, where can they find it?
They'll have to they're gonna have to decode a series of clues, each more fiendish than the last. No.
Now you're gonna love this bridge.
That was Unicorns Get More Bacon from Mark with a C. And we were just talking about bacon, and I was bringing up Tyler, the Creator, only because he's well known for loving bacon, and your song makes me think of a unicorn with a plate of bacon.
And the sequel's going to be Tunicorns Get More Bacon. A two-horned unicorn.
I thought it was a unicorn fish, like a tunicorn.
And that's the first time I think anyone's ever mentioned me and Tyler, the Creator, in the same breath.
Oh, dude, I gotta do a mashup, like...
I want to hear that mashup.
Like,
you have my blessing.
MFSB BSing alongside Yonkers.
I walk into records and I don't come out easily. Like, I stay in them for a long time. One that I recently been into is a rock opera that never came out, from 1970, and it would have been just after Tommy, but this band was working on it while Tommy was being prepared. It's by the band Kaleidoscope, not the US one, the UK version. Believe it or not, there's a big difference. And they made a record called The White-Faced Lady, and it's about a girl who has a hysterical pregnancy and believes that she has been impregnated by the voice of Elvis Presley.
I'm already, like, game for this record already.
It is mind-blowing. Like, it's everything you love about, like, what they call Baroque 60s pop.
Mm-hmm.
Strings are beautiful. The lyrics are just, whoa, no. They didn't have these ideas then. You were still peace and love, and no, this is impossible. How could you do this? It could have rivaled Tommy. And my friend from Italy, Don, gave it to me, and he actually gave it to me because the lead singer's name is Peter Daltrey. Mm-hmm. He knows I'm a huge Who fan, and he didn't know if there was a relation. So he didn't even know if I'd like the record. He just thought there's this off chance that it was Who related.
Yeah.
There is no relation. It just blew my mind.
That's the best stuff. Like, when you gave me that copy of Sleep Dirt, I will always go back to that, because that was like, yeah, that was earth-shattering. I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah, the original vinyl cut of Sleep Dirt, that's the stuff that Dreams and Tears are made of right there.
We weren't even dating yet, I don't think, when this happened. Or if we were, it was early
Just
days.
So you listeners know, Captain Chris is pointing at Rose McGiggles.
I'm pointing at Rose McGiggles.
They don't know that. They just hear, we're not dating. I am happily married and monogamous. Let me just point that out. Okay, sorry.
I know you think I'm cute. I know.
Cute or not, I am happily married and monogamous.
It is 7:59. Man, the time flies. What we're going to do is this. We're going to play these top of the hour things, because I know you want to hear from the station. And then we're going to get back into this conversation with Mark with a C. Right here. Anything and everything above ground, underground. We're making it happen. I'm the captain. The show.
Hey, it's Jake from Jester Brothers, as you're listening.
I would be happier if people looked at Unicorns Get More Bacon as a collection of songs.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense because it definitely feels kind of more of a return to your earlier kinds of things that are kind of, like you said, collections of songs, not necessarily as heavily concept as the last couple of them have been.
Right, and the difference, of course, being that it's I'm glad that you picked up on the similarities to the kind of the earlier style of writing and putting records together, but I wanted to do it with what I know how to do as far as recording and production today, and with the team that I work with today. For example, Catherine Miller, who does all of my art, and she does such a fantastic job at it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And also Tim Labonte, who's responsible for 90% of the videos that I do. It's sort of like, well, if I had this team then, what would we have made? And
I see. Okay.
So they say you can't go back, and they're right. I can't write like a disaffected 24-year-old anymore, but I can write like a disaffected late 30s guy.
There are a couple of tracks that I'm kind of curious about. One of them is Ethics in Gaming. Are you kind of metaphorically criticizing a certain internet group with the initials GG? Without necessarily...
No, I think my feelings in the song are spelled out pretty clearly. If you ever believe that you are the best at something, then that means that in order to be the best, you have in your head marginalized everybody else.
Right.
So we are ingrained to win. We have winning ingrained in us, and maybe there's something to that. Maybe it's something to consider.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure if that was because of the title, obviously.
I would say if the shoe fits, anyone's free to wear it, but I would also say I'm guilty of it as well. You know, it's not pointing the blame at the rest of the world and going, I've got the answer. It's sort of a way for me to remind myself to not marginalize others.
I think most people know that you are a fan of vinyl and have been for a very long time. So what is it exactly about vinyl that you like so much?
It's magical. It's just straight up magical. I mean, we can talk all day about the big art and the texture and the smell and just basically the fetishism of the object, but when you produce a vinyl record, before it can be pressed, there's a hint of something that happens that most people don't bring up. You know, when people specifically tell you, Chad, like, oh, I think this sounds warmer on vinyl. I know you've heard that, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Well, what happens is, if you were to actually place all the music on a vinyl record exactly as it sounded, you could maybe fit one song on an LP at 33 RPM. Maybe. So what they have to do is apply what's known as the RIAA curve, which actually leaves all the treble and takes away nearly all of the bass. That's what's actually on your record. Then, when you're plugging in your turntable, you'll notice that most cases you have two RCA jacks, a left and a right, and you have a ground wire. That ground wire is actually the amplification of electricity which artificially adds the bass back in. So no player will ever read that record the same way. It's always your personalized listening experience. It's the deepest connection that you can personally have with the music without having the song written for you.
Any thoughts on either Glenn Frey or Paul Kantner?
Paul Kantner was, believe it or not, a huge influence on me. One of, I think the first Jefferson Airplane record I had was a compilation called 2400 Fulton Street. I think I spent my allowance on it when I was around 9 or 10. And, you know, I just dug the songs that I heard on the radio, like White Rabbit and Somebody to Love, and I thought there was other cool stuff there. So, or there must be, and once I got to stuff like After Bathing at Baxter's, which leads with a track called The Ballad of You, Me, and Pooneal, I really had my head torn off, and there was some amazing lead guitar, but it was always punctuated by this sharp and jangly guitar, and that was Paul Kantner, and he was always thinking very futuristically, and while using the simplest tools.
So you found out from your Facebook post. That's how I found out. I saw that and I was like, oh man, another one? Yeah.
It's sad, but at the same time, I'm weirdly accepting of it because I mean, it's pointless to fight mortality. It just really is.
Yeah,
I'm not scared of aging. I'm not scared of my body breaking down and becoming, you know, eventually returning to the earth. as a lot of people seem to fight with Botox and facelifts and things. I believe if we could all wear who we are on our sleeves, there'd be a lot less to run from.